Imagine walking beneath the bustling streets of Edinburgh, surrounded by centuries-old stone walls, where the air feels heavy and damp. You take a few steps, and suddenly, you hear a faint whisper behind you. But when you turn around, no one's there. Tonight, we're going deep under the historic city of Edinburgh, Scotland, into one of the most haunted places on earth, the Edinburgh Vaults. A forgotten world built beneath the living, where people suffered, died, and possibly never left. So grab your flashlight, keep your volume up, and remember, once we go underground, there's no guarantee we'll come back the same. This is the dark story of the Edinburgh Vaults. Part 1. The Secret Beneath the City. Edinburgh is famous for its castles, festivals, and cobblestone charm. But few realize that beneath its streets lies an entire hidden city, a maze of vaults, chambers, and passageways sealed off for over a century. The story begins in the late 1700s, when Edinburgh was expanding rapidly. To connect the old town with the newer parts, engineers built the South Bridge, completed in 1788. But here's the twist: under that bridge, they built 18 arches, and within those arches, hundreds of vaults. Initially, it was a clever idea. The vaults were meant to be workshops and storage spaces for merchants, shoemakers, tavern owners, blacksmiths. Imagine the clanging of metal, the chatter of workers, the smell of ale and smoke. But the dream didn't last long. Poor construction, leaky ceilings, and Scotland's damp weather made the vaults unlivable. Water seeped through stone walls, turning the floors into mud. Rats took over. Business owners fled. And that's when the city's darkest chapter began. Part 2. A City Beneath the City. By the early 1800s, the vaults had become a dumping ground, literally and figuratively. The poor and homeless began moving in, seeking any shelter they could find. Families crammed into rooms the size of closets, with no light, no ventilation, and barely enough air to breathe. Imagine waking up underground, hearing footsteps above your head, but knowing that sunlight won't reach you, not today, not ever. The vaults became home to criminals, thieves, and even murderers. Gangs ruled the tunnels, and prostitution flourished. The narrow passages became a black market for stolen goods, and according to some historians, even human remains. Yes, the vaults might have been connected to one of Scotland's most chilling crimes, the Burke and Hare murders of the 1820s. These two men killed at least 16 people and sold their bodies to medical schools for dissection. Although no proof directly links them to the vaults, many locals believe they used the tunnels to hide evidence or transport bodies unseen. And if that's true, it means the ghosts that haunt these chambers aren't just lost souls, they're victims of murder. Part 3. Rediscovery and the Unearthing of Horror. For more than a century, the vaults were sealed and forgotten. But in the 1980s, during an excavation, a team of archaeologists broke through a wall and discovered what lay beneath. What they found was chilling. Inside the vaults, they uncovered children's toys, rusted tools, old wine bottles, and even human bones. But that wasn't all. Many objects were oddly placed, small dolls arranged in circles, soot marks forming strange patterns, and old drawings on the walls that didn't seem normal. Some experts believe that satanic rituals had taken place there during the decades the vaults were abandoned. That's when paranormal activity reports skyrocketed. Tour guides, workers, and visitors began experiencing cold spots, sudden touches, and disembodied voices. Cameras malfunctioned, and batteries drained within minutes. One tour guide described hearing a child giggling, even though no children were on the tour. Another reported seeing a tall, shadowy man following her group, only for him to disappear into solid stone. And that's how the legend of Mr. Boots was born. Part 4. The entity known as Mr. Boots. If you ever visit the Edinburgh Vaults, you'll hear one name whispered again and again, Mr. Boots. He's described as a tall, angry male spirit, often heard stomping heavily through the tunnels, hence the name. Tour guides warned visitors not to provoke him. Some who did claim to have been scratched, pushed, or even choked by an unseen force. One famous story involves a TV crew filming a documentary in the vaults. Their sound engineer reported hearing heavy footsteps behind him, getting louder and louder. When he turned around, no one was there, but his microphone picked up a deep growl. Another visitor said she felt something grab her ankle during a tour. When she looked down, her leg had 3 bloody claw marks. No one knows who Mr. Boots was. Some say he was a criminal who died violently in the vaults. Others think he was one of the landlords who exploited the poor, and now he's trapped forever in the darkness he once profited from. Part 5. The Child's Spirit, Little Jack. But not all spirits in the vaults are malevolent. There's also the story of Little Jack, the ghost of a young boy who supposedly died of illness down there. Visitors often feel a small, icy hand grab theirs during tours. Some have left toys behind for him, only to return later and find the toys moved or missing. Tour guides claim Jack is playful but lonely, a child's spirit searching for companionship in an eternal night. And yet many believe that Jack might not be a child at all. Some paranormal investigators think this entity mimics a child's behavior to lure people in, before revealing its true, darker nature. What do you think? Could a demonic presence be disguising itself as a child to gain trust? Or is Jack's spirit truly innocent, a lost boy looking for comfort in the afterlife? Let me know what you believe in the comments below. Part 6. Paranormal Investigations. Over the past few decades, countless paranormal teams have ventured into the Edinburgh Vaults, with chilling results. Shows like Most Haunted and Ghost Adventures have recorded unexplained knocking sounds, screams, and sudden temperature drops. In one investigation, an infrared camera caught what looked like a human figure darting between rooms, even though all crew members were accounted for. Some psychics claim the vaults are filled with spiritual residue, a mix of emotions from centuries of pain and death. Others believe portals exist within the vaults, gateways between the living and the dead. Interestingly, the vaults lie right below areas that were historically used for witch trials and public executions. Could it be that these overlapping energies have turned the underground chambers into a spiritual hotspot? Part 7. The Tourist Experience. Today, you can visit the vaults on guided tours, but be warned, they're not for the faint of heart. People faint. Cameras fail. And some visitors claim that even after leaving, something follows them home. One woman who took the Extreme Paranormal tour said she woke up that night to find her bed shaking. She later showed photos taken in the vaults, with a blurry, human-like shadow right behind her shoulder. Tour guides often tell guests, "If you feel someone brush past you, don't turn around. It's never good to make eye contact with what lives here." Part 8. Modern-day relevance and speculation. Now here's something interesting. The Edinburgh Vaults have become a viral hotspot on social media. TikTokers and YouTubers have posted their own ghost hunts, catching strange orbs and whispers on camera. Some skeptics argue it's all psychological, that the underground environment triggers fear responses that make us imagine things. Others think electromagnetic energy from old stone walls might interfere with human perception. But believers say that's just denial. Because hundreds of independent visitors, decades apart, have reported the same voices, the same sounds, the same touches. How do you explain that? It raises a deeper question: what happens to energy that's created by suffering? Does it linger forever, looping in time like a scar on reality? Or are these spirits trapped, unable to cross over because their deaths were so traumatic? Part 9. Theories and Reflection. Some researchers have an even darker theory, that the vaults are a kind of psychic sponge. Every emotion ever felt down there, fear, pain, anger, gets absorbed by the walls. And now, centuries later, that energy manifests as the shadows and voices we encounter. If true, that means the Edinburgh Vaults aren't just haunted, they're alive. Breathing, remembering, replaying history in fragments. So maybe when we hear footsteps behind us, it's not a ghost at all, but history itself, walking in circles. The Edinburgh Vaults remain one of the most active paranormal sites in the world, and one of the most mysterious. Tourists still flock there, hoping to capture something supernatural. Some walk out terrified. Others leave skeptical. But no one leaves unchanged. Because once you've stood in the pitch-black silence of those tunnels, surrounded by centuries of death and despair, you realize something. Maybe the scariest thing about the vaults isn't the ghosts, it's the reminder that they were once just like us.